Let's now look at the interfacing the SEPM with the Protection Center. Lesson 13. We're going to describe the new Protection Center. We're going to look at the Protection Center appliance, how we configure the Protection Center, and using the Protection Center. Let's look at the describing first. So we have a whole bunch of different security products that Symantec supply, and they are all independent of each other. But many customers have many of the Symantec products installed, and they find it awkward to have to keep logging on to different consoles and have no integration between them. So the Protection Center has now made this available. We can pull these security products together and run reports, cross-functional reports, as well as manage certain tasks and features within them. So what is the Protection Center? It integrates with the SEP, the DLP, CCS, and third-party and others. It focuses the integration on the threat assessment and remediation. Provides a centralized web console and single sign-on for role-based access control. Provides the cross-product reporting and dashboards, and gathers that Symantec and third-party product information into global data feeds. Provides actionable reporting with recommendations and drives the remediation process. So it means you can do a whole bunch of the things that you would normally be doing individually on these products, all from the Protection Center with a single sign-on and access controls. Here we can see the Symantec Protection Center version 1. This was available with SEP 11, and it is still supported with SEP 12.1. We can see the single sign-on at the top. We can see the system status in the central area, but it doesn't have such in-depth integration with the other products as the new version does. Here we can see a comparison between the version 1 Protection Center and the new Protection Center. The integration is much multi-level now integration. The delivery is separate software appliance, or it can be put onto a hardware appliance. We have a central database now for the Protection Center information that's gathered. We've got lots of reporting that are cross-functional. We still have the single sign-on, and we can do certain actions that were used with the workflow APIs. So, Protection Center improvements detailed here. 3 levels of integration, and we can get access from the global information network. We've got basic event correlation, dashboard notifications, as well as cross-product reporting. And we've got that pre-built workflow templates that enables you to do certain tasks from the Protection Center. So the 3 levels of integration, we've got console integration, which allows the single sign-on and the access control. We have the data integration that supplies the event data and appropriate inventory to the Protection Center, so it can include that in the reports. And the action integration now enables users to run certain combined tasks within the reports. The Global Intelligence Network, yes, the Protection Center utilizes this information that's gathered across the globe. There are millions of endpoints gathering information about threats and malware. Vulnerabilities are reported through, and the Protection Center utilizes and analyzes this information. So the Protection Center, the functions that we are using within the correlation of reporting and notifications are the single sign-on and that role-based control, and that data collection for cross-product reporting and the dashboards. So how does the Protection Center gather this information? Well, it needs to have the pluggable application components added into it and registered. So these pack files are downloaded from the live update within the different products, and then you run these to integrate them within the Protection Center. Let's describe the Protection Center appliance now. Well, we can either have it running on a VMware ESX server as a virtual environment that can manage the smaller environment for less than 5,000 nodes, or we can put it on a physical server which will handle more than 5,000. To install, we need to download the software from the Symantec website. We then need to burn it to a DVD, and then we boot the appliance with that DVD ISO. Here's a table showing the physical application requirements, and notice there's minimum and recommended values here. How do we configure the Protection Center? Well, we need to understand the communication, how it works. The Protection Center will do the discovery and registration of these additional third-party and Symantec components. The asset and information will be pulled into the database being held within the Protection Center. And that will enable the single sign-ons from these users to gain this access that's been collected from the third-party and Symantec products. The Protection Center will do the initial registration, and once that's been registered, then those users can analyze the information within the Protection Center without having to log on to each of the individual products themselves. Let's have a look at the registration. Notice that here we have an example of a SEP site with one domain with a couple of SEPMs and another SEP site with 2 domains. If you are setting up a Protection Center, each individual domain has to be registered. It doesn't matter about the SEPMs. In SEP Site 1, that will be registered just the once. In SEP Site 2, that would have to be registered twice to gather each of the individual information coming from each domain. And then the users can log on to the Protection Center. The admin user is created by default during the installation. And then we need to make sure we've integrated and registered the products within this new installation of the installation of the Protection Center. So we need to do the discovery, we need to enable the products, we need to set the access, and then we need to verify that all is good. So the first step is within the Protection Center, select the admin option at the top bar, and then we need to do the discovery. We can choose the product discovery at step 3 and discover certain IP selections. You can choose to select which products to integrate. So it's now discovered the different products out there, and we can enable those supported products. So in step 2, we specify the administrator username to use and the ports to access, in this case the SEP 12.1. It's worth noting that the SEP 12.1 is automatically integrated within the Protection Center. You can't use any previous versions within SEP, but within the Protection Center of SEP. So we can see, hopefully on the right-hand side, we have the successful enablement. You may potentially get the pop-up with unsuccessful, in which case you would need to analyze that. It could be because the clocks aren't synchronized. The clocks must be within a certain period of time to ensure that the data being gathered is accurate. So you need to go in and possibly set that date and time. We then need to set up the user access. Again, on the admin task at the top, we can specify a new user and create new users for each of our different administrators. So create this user account and specify passwords. Now we've created the user account, we need to set the access permissions. You can go in and individually add in the permissions on the first box on the left, or you could copy permissions from a pre-existing administrator with the same accesses that you wish to copy. Once you've got the permissions set, you then need to grant the access to the particular hosts. Once we've granted the access to the host, the hosts, we can link it to those integrated products within that host. And here we're seeing we're linking it to the SEP12, and we're linking the admin user account for this particular user. And then we can display the summary of all those steps. And this can be then emailed to the administrator to show them what access they have to which products. Let's look at using the Protection Center. So we use an administrator, when you log on, you then can select the home page, you can select the Protection Center option at the top, and it will show you the different integrated products that you have access to. Once you hover over them, it will show you the different hosts and the access permissions you have, as you may have access to a number of different sites or domains. Once we've navigated into the SEPM, we can see that it's showing us very similar information to our home page within the SEPM login. The big difference is, notice the pages are now distributed across the top. They're horizontally as opposed to vertically on the left-hand side. We can see who's logged in. We can see we're in the SEPM the SPC admin, and we can see the connection at the bottom. We could select the different pages across the top. Here we've got the reports page. And we can go in and create quick reports and scheduled reports, exactly the same as we can do within the SEPM Manager. So that's given us an introduction to the features of the new Protection Center. We know how to install it and the differences between the virtual and the physical. And we can integrate it with the SEP 12.1.